Have you ever noticed how we live in a world obsessed with instant happiness, as if our existence were nothing more than a perpetual quest for fleeting pleasures? What if this pursuit were the very cause of our suffering? We are bombarded with messages promising us happiness through consumerism, social validation, and endless entertainment. But look around you. Are we really happier? Stoicism, the age-old philosophy born in ancient Greece, offers a radically different vision. Not one of easy, instant happiness, but of an unshakable inner peace in the face of life's storms. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, these thinkers didn't write to entertain, but to transform. They understood something our modern society seems to have forgotten, that true power lies not in controlling external circumstances, but in mastering our inner reactions. This video is not designed to comfort you with platitudes. It aims to confront you with this disturbing truth. Your happiness doesn't depend on what happens to you, but on your judgment of what happens to you. If this idea resonates with you, stay with me, because once you understand how the Stoics perceive the world, you will never see your challenges, your failures, or even your successes in the same way again. Part 1. The illusion of external control. We live in a culture that pushes us to believe that happiness is something to be conquered, purchased, or achieved. A promotion, a relationship, social recognition, as if these external elements held the key to our inner peace. But if this approach really worked, why do so many people who have everything by social standards suffer from anxiety, depression, and existential emptiness? Epictetus, a former slave who became one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, summed up this illusion in a powerful phrase: "What troubles people is not things, but their judgments about them." Understand the depth of this statement. It's not your dismissal that makes you unhappy, but your judgment about it. It's not the failure of a relationship that destroys you, but your interpretation of that failure. The Stoics weren't naive. They didn't pretend that pain, illness, or loss didn't exist. They fully recognized the harshness of human existence. But they understood something fundamental. Some things are within our control, others are not. And the secret to a serene life lies in this crucial distinction. What do you really control? Your judgments, your desires, your aversions, the use you make of your perceptions. What's beyond your control? Virtually everything else. Health, wealth, reputation, the actions of others, external events. As long as you invest your happiness in this second group, you will be like a ship without a rudder, tossed by the winds and tides. This distinction is not an invitation to passivity, but rather to effective action. By focusing your energy on what truly depends on you, you become not less powerful, but infinitely more powerful. For while others exhaust themselves trying to control the uncontrollable, you cultivate the only truly impregnable fortress, your mind. Part 2. Virtue as the only true good. The Stoics proposed a revolutionary vision. There is only one true good, and that good is virtue. Not in the moralizing sense of the term, but as the excellence of human character. This good can neither be given nor taken away by external circumstances. It is not subject to the vagaries of fortune. Understand this. For a Stoic, health is not a good in itself, but a preferred good. Illness is not an evil, but a non-preferred good. This distinction may seem subtle, but it is fundamental. For if you consider health an absolute good, its loss will necessarily become an unbearable evil. By considering it a preferred good, you recognize its value without attaching your essential happiness to it. Seneca, who experienced exile, chronic illness, and political persecution, wrote, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare, it is because we do not dare that they are difficult." In this view, obstacles become opportunities, not for external success, but for inner growth. Poverty becomes an occasion to practice frugality, illness patience, insult tolerance. This philosophy is not an escape from life's challenges. On the contrary, it is a direct confrontation, without evasion. It does not promise you that life will be easy, but that with the right mental training, no circumstance can deprive you of your inner dignity. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who wrote his Stoic meditations between military campaigns and affairs of state, reminds us, you have the power to withdraw into yourself. No retreat is more peaceful or less troubled than that which a man finds within his own soul. This retreat is not an escape, but a strategic repositioning, a reconnection with your true source of power. Part 3. Radical acceptance of the present. The Stoics taught radical acceptance of the present, not as passive resignation, but as a lucid alignment with reality. Epictetus put it this way: "Do not demand that events happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do, and you will be at peace." This acceptance is not easy. It goes against our natural tendency to resist, to rebel against what is. We spend countless hours ruminating on the past, worrying about the future, and wishing that reality were different. The Stoics saw this struggle against the inevitable as the main source of our suffering. Understand, acceptance does not mean approval. You can fully accept a tragic event while actively working to improve the situation. The difference lies in the absence of emotional resistance, in this ability to say yes to reality as it presents itself, before acting to transform it if necessary. What makes this practice so powerful is that it frees up an immense amount of energy, previously wasted in futile resistance. Imagine the energy saved when you stop fighting against situations you cannot change, and focus entirely on your response to them. The Stoics also cultivated a keen awareness of impermanence. They practiced premeditation of evils, premeditatio malorum, mentally training themselves to accept inevitable losses in advance. The death of a loved one, the loss of health, the end of a relationship. Not to sink into pessimism, but to dissolve the paralyzing fear of these events. Part 4. Detachment from passion. Our modern culture glorifies emotions. Emotional authenticity has become a supreme virtue. Follow your heart, trust your feelings, these words of advice abound. The Stoics proposed a radically different path: detachment from passions, which they called apatheia. Don't confuse this apatheia with modern apathy. It's not indifference or insensitivity, but a liberation from disturbing emotions. The Stoics distinguished initial emotional reactions, propatheiai, which are involuntary and natural, from passions, patheiai, which imply judgment and consent. You can't help but be overcome by sadness when you hear bad news, it's propatheiai. But you can choose not to give in to the depression that arises when you judge this event as an absolute evil. This is avoiding patheiai. This detachment is not coldness. The Stoics highly valued love, friendship, and the calm joy that comes from a virtuous life. But they sought to transcend reactive emotions based on erroneous judgments, anger that presupposes another should not have acted as he or she did, fear that anticipates future harm as unbearable, desire that considers an external object necessary for happiness. Seneca wrote, "Anger is a brief moment of madness." As you observe your own outbursts of anger, don't you recognize this truth? In these moments, part of your reason is temporarily eclipsed. You say things you regret. You act in ways that don't reflect your deepest values. Stoic detachment is a rigorous training that involves intercepting your automatic judgments before they generate destructive emotions. It's not about suppressing emotions, but about transforming them through a shift in perspective. Part 5. The universal human community. Contrary to the image sometimes conveyed of the Stoic as an isolated individualist, this philosophy placed fundamental importance on our belonging to the universal human community. The Stoics were pioneers of cosmopolitanism, viewing all human beings as citizens of the same global city. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, "We are made for one another." This conviction was not mere idealism, but followed logically from their vision of the cosmos as an ordered and interconnected whole. Each human being was seen as carrying a divine spark, reason, logos, which unites us beyond our superficial differences. This vision engenders an ethic of universal benevolence. Even toward those who wrong us, the Stoics recommended understanding rather than revenge. "No one does evil willfully," taught Epictetus, echoing Socrates. "Those who act wrongly do so out of ignorance of what good truly is." Far from being a weakness, this benevolence is an expression of inner strength and clarity of judgment. By understanding that the errors of others stem from their own confusion, you free yourself from the poison of resentment and hatred. This Stoic compassion is not based on emotion but on reason. It recognizes our common nature, our shared fallibility. It sees in every human being, even the most misguided, a potential for transformation and awakening. Part 6. Daily practice. Stoicism is not an abstract theory but a daily practice, a constant exercise of the mind. The ancient Stoics developed numerous spiritual exercises to strengthen the soul, many of which resonate surprisingly well with contemporary mindfulness practices. The examination of conscience, practiced every evening by Seneca, consists of revisiting your day without complacency or excessive judgment, asking yourself, "What virtues have I demonstrated today?" What weaknesses? How can I improve tomorrow? Contemplation of your own mortality, memento mori, is not a morbid obsession but a life-affirming reminder of the finiteness of existence, intensifying your presence in the moment and clarifying your priorities. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Perform each act of your life as if it were your last." Observing hindsight, the view from above, invites you to distance yourself from your immediate concerns, to place them in a cosmic perspective where they regain their proper proportion. Your daily problems, seen from this height, often lose their oppressive power. These practices are not quick personal development techniques. They require patience, consistency, and humility. Just as physical training strengthens the body, these spiritual exercises gradually forge an unshakable character in the face of the onslaughts of fortune. Conclusion: if you've come this far, it's because a part of you resonates with this ancient wisdom. Perhaps you recognized in Stoicism not a foreign philosophy, but the articulation of truths you already intuitively sensed. Let me tell you the story of Agrippinus, a Roman senator condemned to exile by Nero. When he was informed of his banishment, he simply replied, "Very well, then I will dine at Aricia." While others would have been devastated by this news, Agrippinus received it with a serenity that testified to years of Stoic practice. He did not control exile, but he perfectly controlled his response to it. This story is not a mere historical narrative. It illustrates a universal human possibility, that of an inviolable inner freedom, even in the most adverse circumstances. I do not claim that the Stoic path is easy. It runs counter to many contemporary cultural trends. It demands uncompromising honesty with oneself, quiet courage in the face of difficulties, and perseverance in the daily practice of the virtues. But if this philosophy speaks to you, if you feel the need for a deeper wisdom than the ubiquitous superficial solutions, then perhaps Stoicism offers you a path. Not to a fleeting happiness based on favorable circumstances, but to that lasting tranquility of soul that the ancients called eudaimonia, authentic human flourishing. If this exploration has touched you, leave a comment, amor fati, love of fate, that Stoic attitude that fully embraces life as it is. And subscribe to continue this philosophical journey, because future videos will delve into other aspects of this age-old wisdom, which has never been more relevant than today. And before you go, a video right next door explores the Stoic practice of contemplating your own death, not as a morbid exercise, but as a path to a more intense and authentic life. Click now. I'll see you there in a few seconds.